So let's take a look. So I'm excited to try this because I had another one recently that just got faulty, and it was, you know, when you have salt water tanks and you keep a bucket of salt water with a pump running in it and everything. Well, before I used my return pump to do that, my old return pump from the stock EVO kit, I used one of these, but it wasn't Hygger, it was Aqueon? I have another one of those in my backup kit, but anyways, the one that I had, it started, I would stick my hand in that bucket and I'd feel an electrical current, and it started shocking me, so I had to throw that one away because I don't trust that. I don't want to shock my fish. So that one went away. So I'm super excited to try this. So, oh, and one thing right off the bat that I really, really like about this, let me scooch out here, get closer here. So one thing that I really like about this is that this is magnetic. Yeah, so this is magnetic. I don't know if I ever talked about it on this channel, but I can't stand suction cups because they just suck. No pun intended. I just always have bad luck with them. If anybody has any good suction cups they can recommend that hold up, please recommend them because I'm so tired of fighting with suction cups. But anyways, I'm excited that this has a magnet because I really don't want to deal with suction cups. And the other wave maker that I have, it's suction cups. So, but I'm in no way bashing the other wave maker. This video is not about that, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore in this. I'm simply going to focus on the Hygger. So let's get right into it. All right, so this is a moment of truth for this tank. As you can see, I'm still struggling with the algae. It's all over the Anubias. However, it has significantly improved from the last time, and I see an Anubias that unanchored itself and floated up to the top. I gotta fix that. I will grab that in a minute. Let me turn some lights off so you can see this tank better. So anyways, enough about the algae mess here. I gotta clean this filter out because this intake's pretty taken up. This tank's taken a little while to get cleaned up, but I've been working on some other tanks in between. So I need to get my sole attention focused on getting this straightened up. I want to get this nicely aquascaped and just get the algae to go away. So right now, I put the pothos in here to help with nitrates and everything. And I put a bunch of other like little plants like these back here. I have a whole tank full of these guys. So I put a bunch in here. So this tetra is the last of his kind in here. I've been kind of letting the fish, he's very old. You can see he's got some bloating too, but very, very old fish. I'm kind of letting them live out the rest of their lives, and then I'm going to restock this tank once I get things under control. Right now, there's a lot of cories in here. You'd never believe it because you can't see any of them right now. There's a couple that have come in, but there's a bunch of cories in here. So I'm thinking of just letting them live their best lives in here without being pestered by anything. There's a pleco too. The purpose of this video is not to ramble on about how this tank is still a work in progress. So we are going to test the Hygger. Ooh, this is going to stir up the tank because a lot of the gunk likes to stick in these floating plants. I mean, look at that. But anyways, let me fix this guy right here. He's supposed to be down here. But yeah, like just before I really started making YouTube videos, this tank would have been so much better to show. It looked so much nicer. If I can find any photos of it from back in those days, I'll put some up here, but the plants were better. Everything was just more managed. So, yeah, we're working on it though. So just enjoy this tank journey on this channel to getting this to look nicer. So the first thing I want to do is see how much flow this has in this 29 gallon. I don't know why I'm so bothered about the fact that I just stirred it up when this is probably going to stir it up anyways. So let's get this on here. So this right back here. Here we go. Boom! Okay, so this is definitely a lot for this tank. But let's try and make some waves here. Okay, so as I said before, you can move this around a little. So as I said before, you can move this around where you want it. I'm gonna face it up. And now we're making waves. Okay, just be careful not to have it like fly down your tank. You don't want the water coming out of your tank. But yeah, that's doing a really good job making waves. So that's nice. But as far as pointing that down in this tank, I think it is way too much power for this one. Which in some cases would be good, but this tank has cories and plecos. I don't know if I want that much flow with them. So as you can see, it's a little bit too much power in here, and again, this is a 29 gallon tank, and this would be perfect flow for something like a reef tank in this size. Or you'd want to have another flow going against this one in here though for that, so that it's creating more turbulence, but I won't go too much into that in this. I'm just picturing the wave creation under like a coral light. The shimmer that would create would probably be really nice. All right, and here's the turtle tank, and I have the Hygger on in here. Let me see if I can get a good show on the flow. You can see it back there. Let me take this off. Whee, yeah. Okay. All right, so I have it back here. It's pointed more towards this side, but let's point it up. Get some wave making going. Ah, yes. Look at that. It's definitely stirring up the duckweed, but yeah. Alright, so here it is in the turtle tank. That feels so nice coming out of there. It's like a jet and a pole. And here it is pointing towards the surface. I just really like how well that this moves around so easily. But yeah, it's pointing towards the surface here. But I think it's safe to say that it definitely is better in the 40 breeder than the 29 gallon. It was a little bit too strong for the 29, but it's really nice in here. That would be really nice with a reef tank, one on this side and one on the opposite side. Can avoid dead spots. So, well, I gotta put the turtle back in here. He's kind of just... I'm sorry, buddy.
Why me?
He's probably wondering what on earth is going on. Alright. Yeah, sweetie. Want to say hi, Claude? Claude! He's got duckweed on him, oh no. Okay. Here he goes. Say, I'm gonna knock that thing right off the side. Like I do to all the filters. say, what in the world is that? What is going on in here? Here's one of his duckies. Alright, so the last tank I want to test it on, it's a 55 gallon, and it'll be a little bit easier to see what's going on in that one than in this one. That's the one with the goldfish. Okay, so I'm having trouble figuring out where this glare is coming from. It could just be coming from the tank light on it. Let me see. Since I have it upside. Okay. Yeah, that glare I think is coming from the tank light itself, so I just have to suffer through the glare. Quickly, I just want to show you this poor little guy. Oh, this glare. This poor little guy has this big bump. I forget what it's called. I'll put the name right here. These were feeder fish. I don't think I really ever showed them too much. They've been in videos here and there, but they were feeder fish I got before I left one of my jobs, and I just wanted to bring them home. So I'm sure they have a lot of internal issues from whatever they went through in that environment, since we know feeder fish can, it's not the kindest environment. So yeah, but he's got this bump. He does really well though. This guy's starting on one now too. Let me see if, there we go. That helps a little bit, but yeah. So he's got this little bump. Yeah, it's not a little bump. I'm sorry, this is so hard to see because of the way this light is. Let me see if I can move it for this video. I mean, that's something. Alright, here we go. So that's with the flow on. Zoom out. Whoops, that is zooming in, not zooming out. Oh my gosh. You can see that moving around in the current there. Alright, so before I show you the adjustment for the water pressure, I want to show you one thing about positioning it. So, woo! Want some waves? Alright, anyways, so let me zoom up on this so you can see it better. Whoops. Alright, so before I show you the adjustments for the water pressure, let's look at this. So for positioning this, so say it's too loose and you can't get it to stay upright if you want it pointed towards the top like this, and it falls down, well then you're just going to go in and you're going to tighten this. You're going to go in and tighten it like that, and then it'll stay upright. So if you want it looser, you just untighten that, but most likely you're not going to want it too loose because it won't stay where you point it if you have it too loose. So that helps you tighten it to keep your position where you point it. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate the pressure with our little helpful rubber ducky. Alright, so that's the Hygger pump tested on a 29, a 40 breeder, and a 55 gallon. It's a very powerful little pump. It's a little bit too much for the 29, I would say, but it worked beautifully in these two bigger ones. If you had a reef tank that was a 29, it would probably be fine. You could, if you want to slow down the flow a little bit, you could break it up by adding a baffle, just get creative. Or you could place it in front of some rocks or some driftwood just to break up the flow a little bit.